Hi friends, thought I'd share my experience of getting back into vinyl over the last 4 months of 2025. I'm a relative newbie in the sense that last I had a turntable in a record collection was in the 1980s, then switched to tapes, then CDs and MP3s, like most music and audio quality fans, then ripped my CD collection to lossless FLACs, and more recently high-res 24-bit FLACs. So why get back into records? Well, partly one, FOMO and the vinyl resurgence over the last decade, and two, nostalgia really, over how I got into music with records in the first place. Their warm, inviting sound, holding albums, admiring artwork, reading lyrics, and liner notes. I had started out with just 2 albums, and 3 months later, at the end of 2025, I had collected 56 albums to my own surprise, especially to the wallet. So the big question, is vinyl worth getting into? Mostly no. CD rips and especially 24-bit high-res FLACs sound as good always, and with many albums they sound better. I did a lot of back and forth comparison listening tests with my family. That warm, inviting vinyl sound I fondly remembered remains intact, and especially with high-res you actually hear more detail and the sound feels more dynamic or full or richer, just minus the crackles and occasional skipping with records, and especially minus the cost and investment in albums and audio gear. Vinyl fans and audiophiles would likely disagree, but that's my honest truth. I plan to keep my record collection, but likely buy very few additional albums going forward. Talking about investment and trying to get the best sound quality regardless of format within reasonable costs, I ended up with a WIM amp Ultra after starting with the regular WIM amp. Good, but I needed more power output for my room and size. ELAC debut reference 62 bookshelf speakers after trying out Emotiva floor standards, which were pretty good. Klipsch floor standards, my second favorite, and ELAC DB63 bookshelves, which were good, but reference 62s are significantly better. Vinyl audiophiles might argue I need a better gear to really appreciate records, but I believe a reasonably priced setup similar to mine is plenty good for digital and also for vinyl when the mood strikes. Please see my previous video on my WIM amp to Ultra upgrade experience with the speakers I referenced. So vinyl records are still fun because they're intimate, you get to hold and appreciate them, you tend to sit and listen more, do so linearly start to finish, and you enjoy lesser known or lesser played tracks and talk with family about music. So if you're curious about vinyl, try it yourself. Maybe don't take my advice not to, or someone else's too. But let me share a few learnings I hope help out. For a good entry-level turntable, I'd recommend this Audio-Technica model. It's the stylus that makes it solid and less prone to skipping and more forgiving of vinyl imperfections. This Fluon's upgrade favorite was one I almost bought but opted not to, given why I'm concluding in this video I would have been fine not getting into vinyl. This Sony entry-level was my original purchase that was mostly fine but had skipping with 2 of my records that my present Audio-Technica doesn't. Next, even if your turntable has a built-in preamp with line-out, I recommend buying a separate decent preamp. This Fosse Audio preamp is reasonably priced and quite excellent, providing enough audio power to your amp or receiver. Next, the types of vinyl records themselves. Generally, but not with every record, I found sound quality to be best with standard black vinyl, or clear or lightly colored solid ones. And generally not so good with ones like this with heavily printed artwork. For me, after 3 months or so of trying out vinyl, I'm back to digital, mostly high-res from sources like Qobuz. It's just better sound quality, it's a lot more convenient, costs less, and you can still emulate that linear full record playing experience for albums that are made to be experienced that way. And let me do just that with a classic album on high-res. Thank you for watching.